And we're back. Eventually we get to the girls' dormitories. Both my arms are aching from the weight of the two sets of groceries. We're finally here. I bend down and wipe my forehead with the back of my hand. Lily stops in front of her door and sets down her bag, fishing around in her pocket for a key. Thank you, Zal. I really appreciate your help. This is nothing. It might be nothing for you, but it's definitely something for me. And with that, she steps through her door, closing it behind her. I blink. Those were nothing but honest thanks, but I can't help feeling something different about them. Anyway, I have something else to do before I can mull on that at my leisure. Turn back to the door to Hanako's room and proceed to knock twice in quick succession, the bag still in my hand rustling together. After a couple of seconds, the door slowly opens. If one weren't looking closely, they could be forgiven for thinking it hadn't moved at all. I twist my head to the side to try and peer through the tiny sliver of a gap between the door and the door frame. Hey, Hanako, I got your stuff. Huh. With that, she opens the door completely, making her plain room visible over her shoulder, sparsely decorated. It's probably even more unremarkable than my room. I hold out my right arm. Both bags start pulling it straight back down with their weight. Thank you, Izao. I'm sorry to make you carry them all this way. It's fine, don't worry. Just don't make me do it every day, okay? I pass the bags to her as I give a light-hearted chuckle. After the initial transfer of weight, she manages to take them easily. I'll be off then. Night, Hanako. Good night, and see you in class tomorrow. With a deep bow, her groceries still held in both hands, she steps back and shuts the door. Making my way back to my own dorm, I put one bag into my other hand to balance them out. Even as I do so, I can't get Lily's light-hearted smile out of my mind. When I'd first met her, it would have been nearly impossible to imagine her like that. Indeed, it feels like we've become closer in the past few weeks since I first got to know both she and Hanako. The time that I spent with her each day, the small exchanges of happiness we share, the small moments of joy as I get closer to her. I'm far from certain, but I don't think these are just normal feelings of friendship. Once I return to my room, I store away my groceries and begin getting ready for the night. I swapped the school books in my bag for those I'll need tomorrow, pulling out the yellow envelope Misha gave me early in the process. I guess I was sidetracked by one thing after another I couldn't deal with earlier. Who could have written me, I wonder? I think this is the same thing from Rin's route, pretty much. Name neatly drawn in the back of the envelope frees me in its tracks. It's been so long since I've seen writing, there's little chance could have identified it as hers otherwise. Even if, yes. So we already saw this, so let's just skip through it. I assume it's going to be all the same stuff, pretty much. No, we already saw this. Next day. Huh? Wait, what? Did I miss something? Oh, a test? I take the small pile of papers from the student in front of me and pass it backwards after plucking off the top piece. Looking to the top right of the page, I find my fears realized within that small red circle. 43, okay, so... I was scared for a second. I thought maybe something terrible happened. I hang my head in sign resignation, cursing under my breath. I can feel the aura of a similar sentiment rising from the entire class. It's strange, but that fact lifts my mood by a minuscule amount. Misery loves company, I suppose. As the teacher opens his mouth, the room braces for the inevitable onslaught. Only would be saved at the last minute. We quickly move to collect our bags and leave for lunch post-haste, but the teacher delivers a parting broadside. We'll be discussing the class's test scores next lesson. Needless to say, there will be quite some discussion to be had. A collective groan resounds from the class, now reduced to shuffling out dejectedly. I push the sheet into my bag as I walk along the hallway, crumpling in the process. It's enough that such a troublesome letter ended up in my desk yesterday, and now this. I hate English. Izao. A stern female voice gruffly calls out from behind. I freeze on the spot, my face becoming like stone. It's as if I can feel my brain disconnecting from my body. My eyes slowly shift right, trying to catch a glimpse of the disembodied voice. Nothing. My face begins to slip as time passes, and I decide to risk turning my head ever so slowly, I twist it to the... I jump into the air and drop my bag, yelling out in surprise. As I recover and regain my composure, I turn to see... I should have known. Emmy. Gotcha, Izao. She stands there with a mischievous grin on her face, hands forward and fingers pointing inwards. She was the one who jabbed my ribs with her fingers. I look down at her with a grimace, rubbing my hair in frustration. That's no word to greet someone, you know. You have no sense of humor. I left my sense of humor in my English class. Complain to the teacher if you want it. We give him back to me. She pulls her best puppy dog eyes on me as she pouts. Lily's managed to build up my resistance to the tactic, but Emmy's short stature adds enough to the effect to make me relent. So, how are things? Haven't seen you around for a while. Same old, same old. I run so fast nobody wants to join me on my morning runs. It's a real pain. Her modesty never fails to amuse me. Although, uh-oh. You know what I'm thinking, don't you, Hizao? Wearing my emotions on my sleeve is one of my worst habits. She's seen right through me. Fortunately, I see somebody else approaching us. That'll give me a way out. Oh, hi, Hanako. I give her a welcoming wave and try my best at looking like I haven't noticed Emmy's pouting face. She gives a small wave back. Hello, Hizao, Emmy. Hey, Hanako. I'll join you and Lily in a sec. Actually, speaking of lunchtime company, it's odd to see you without Rin, Enemy. Ah, Rin. Without a second word, she forgets all about us and bolts off up the hallway. She must have forgotten she was waiting for her. Hanako and I stand speechless, only able to helplessly stand and watch this ball of seemingly boundless energy dash off. Oh yeah, Hizao. And she suddenly stops herself just before vanishing around the corner to the rooftop staircase, spinning around to meet our bemused faces. I hate English too. Oh, okay, thanks. Okay, thanks. And with that, she disappears. Good. All I can do is hang my head and give a long sigh, thoroughly left in the dust. As I hear a short giggle coming from behind me, I turn to see Hanako smiling at the corner of my attacker rounded. I pick up my dropped bag from the floor and quickly dust it off. Afternoon. Been busy? You don't like English? No. I had a test on it a while back and Emmy caught me brooding about the results. Ah, sorry. She averts her gaze, guilt written on her face. A casual observer would think she'd just accidentally reminded me of a dead relative. Come on, it's not your fault. How are you doing in it? She looks up, though still avoids meeting my eyes. Alright, I suppose. An awkward silence passes. They seem all too common around Hanako. Oh, Lily asked if you'd like to join us for lunch on the roof. I guess I don't exactly have any pressing engagements to attend to. Sure, I'll be right up. I'll go get my lunch from the cafeteria now, then. Go on, you don't need my approval to leave, you know. Okay, I'll be going then. She gives a skittish reply, a small nod, and quickly makes off towards the cafeteria. Guess she must have forgotten to bring lunch today. As I walk through the hallways, more and more students start to come out of the classrooms and past me, going in the same direction as Hanako went. By the time I manage to make it to the stairs, I'm having to push my way past a busily chatting throng of students. I finally manage to get past the last of the crowd and around the staircase, slumping slightly in relief and slowing my pace before I open the door to the roof. Ah, damn. I momentarily avert my eyes, but all but blinded by the harsh summer sun. As I slowly regain my vision, the surroundings finally take form. Lily, Emmy, and Rin sit together on the rooftop, the top of the hilltop forest around Yamaku, visible past the fence around them, as if to frame review. Ah, Hizao. Lily and Rin give a quick nod of acknowledgement and a deep nod of greeting, respectively. I start walking towards the rather mismatched trio. I can't help but marveling at the speed with which Emmy devours the rest of her half-eaten banana. Hey, strange to see you three together like this. It seems to have been quite the day of coincidences. Emmy and Rim decided to eat on the roof just as Hanako and I decided to. You stole it. The spot was ours. Simmer down. You can't steal a place in the school. I plunk myself down beside Lily, the four of us creating a semicircle. I think she's right. You too. The butterfly is her accomplice. The butter. As I glance around, sure enough, a small yellow butterfly floats across my field of vision. So tell me, how did this butterfly help Lily steal this spot? And scouted out our conversation and told her. I should have known better than to expect sound reasoning from Rin. Regardless, I guess it wouldn't hurt to play along. You're telling me she can talk to butterflies. There are people who can talk to horses, called horse whisperers. Lily must be a butterfly whisperer. I bury my head in my hands as Emmy rounds on her strange companion. She doesn't seem to share Rin's sense of humor. Whisperers don't work like that. Emmy and Rin continue their banter as I turn to Lily, who's busily finishing off her small box of curry and rice with a pair of wooden chopsticks. So what brought you up here anyway? A little fresh air every now and again doesn't hurt. Ah. Emmy breaks off from her vain attempts to introduce the concept of logic to Rin. That is why we came up here too. Something tells me it was her idea alone that Rin only got dragged up here on Emmy's whim. Then again, the same could probably be said of Lily and Hanako. Now, we can share. The creaking of the door to the roof can be heard as soon as she says the words, and a moment of silence falls over us as everyone's attention focuses on the figure appearing from it. Hanako slowly walks over to us, her eyes pinned on the ground, silently ruining the attention she's attracting. She tenses just barely when her eyes meet Rin's. Can't help raising an eyebrow as she walks over to us and sits down next to me, doing her utmost to avoid looking up, even as she brings her cafeteria bread to her mouth. So how do you and Emmy know each other anyway? Emmy's somewhat well known around the school for her athletic ability. She's the fastest member of the track and field club by some margin, even beating Miki Miura at the track meet last week. Miki Miura, oh, that tan girl from the front of my class, considering her height and toned body, being able to beat her is quite an accomplishment. Looking over to Emmy, it's very clear she's well aware of this fact as she beams proudly. So, Zawa, what was your score in English? Ugh. No comment. Boo. She puffs her cheeks and pouts, but it doesn't take long for her to bounce back. Alright, if I tell you mine, you have to tell me yours, deal? Fine. Okay, on the count of 3, we'll both say our results. 1, 2, 3. 32. Oh, jeez, you did terrible. I beat a mischievous grin. Evil. You said it, not me. Still, the fact that you managed an even lower score than me is kind of amazing. She looks and sounds like a small terrier growling at an intruder. I can't say it's the most threatening sight I've seen. Either way, scoring higher than 32 isn't something to boast about, much less scoring below it for any subject. Yes, Lily. I'm sorry, Lily. I could help you with your English if you'd like. It would be my pleasure to. No, that's fine, but I appreciate the thought, really. Lily looks slightly deflated, her hopes of imparting her knowledge dashed. Judging from the badly hidden laughter of the rest of us, neither she nor Emmy seem to have the garden too much pity. As I sit happily laughing, though, I feel my voice suddenly cut off as my chest clenches. I sit in silence for a few seconds, all my concentration forced on my heartbeat. It's only a small pain, but the ache feels like it's growing. Breathe deeply. I glance upwards to try and keep at least some of my attention on my surroundings, to see Emmy suddenly freezing when she notices the expression of pain on my face out of the corner of her eye. Hey, Izawa, are you alright? Yeah, I'm fine. I look back down and redouble my efforts to try and stay calm, clenching my fist to try and dull the pain. It takes a short time, but the pain, thankfully, begins to fade. When I look back up, there's only silence and pensive faces to be seen. I guess I'd better explain myself. Arrhythmia, it's fine, it's just a heart flutter. Are you sure? Should we get the nurse? Taking her cue, Hanako quickly picks herself up and begins to dash to the door. Hanako, stop. Lily, I'm fine. You look like a wet, wrinkled tomato. Huh? As I bring my hand to my forehead, I can feel the beads of sweat gathered on it and dab them off with my cuff. Thanks, I told you I'm fine. I'm just kind of fragile, I guess. The entire atmosphere has changed from one of gaiety to downcast faces, the situation being too awkward for anyone to know exactly how to react. And of course the whole thing is thanks to me. It just had to happen now around others. Oh, Emmy? Mm-hmm? She looks up, a box of juice halfway through her mouth. I haven't told you my score yet, have I? Yeah, well, you're half foreign, so your score doesn't count anyway. Lifting an eyebrow, I inquisitively turned to Lily. What was your test result anyway? She gives a cheeky grin. 100? 100%, yep, perfect score. No way, all I can do is hang my mouth open in wonder. Considering those tests are insane even for some native speakers, I can only imagine she'd gone and done something like committing to mind part of the dictionary. A gift for rote memorization, maybe. That's... See, only someone part foreign can get a score that good. See... Lily and I grin at Emmy's expense, her reaction identical to mine when I first tripped on that little landmine, and Lily's foreign ancestry does raise a point, though. Oh, that's right, you leave tomorrow for Scotland, don't you? That's correct. Emmy heard some rumors about it. It seems word's spreading quickly, considering I only told a friend of my class a couple of days ago. Must be so nice to go halfway around the world on a holiday. Hey, could you buy me something while you're there? Don't be too shy now. Lily gives a light-hearted giggle, evidently fully expecting Emmy's bluntness. The rest of the lunch continues much the same as before, the jauntiness from before my heart flutter thankfully returning in full. As everyone files off with the appropriate farewells, only Lily and I are left. And hey, Lily. She packs the last of her things into her bag and clips it shut before perking her head up slightly. Thanks for breaking the silence back there. I kind of wanted to stop it, but I didn't really know how. As much as I'd like to sound less morose about it, the letter from yesterday screwing up a test so badly in class and now my heart make things very hard indeed. She gives an indulgent smile and nods. I hope she hasn't picked up on it, but knowing her, it's unlikely that she hasn't. Amy's strong, but only human. We do worry about you, Zhao. Hold on, why would I worry you? Her smiling face collapses, becoming uncomfortably serious. Zhao, we are not ignorant of your situation. She suddenly cuts herself short, unsure of whether she should say what she intends to. I give a weak smile and rest my hand on her shoulder. Don't. It's not that I worry about it. I don't want you all to shoulder my burden. But if you all worry about it, I have to worry about you worrying, if that makes sense. I'm fine, okay? For a moment, she looks to be lost in thought, carefully pondering how to react. Zhao, do you have any paper left from your food's packaging? I think so. I'll just check. I rummage around in my bag for the leftovers from lunch, eventually finding a paper square for my sandwich package. My eyebrow raised and my expression quite quizzical, I gently place the square into Lily's hands. Without another word, she brings her fingers around it to feel out its edges. This should be large enough. With both of us seated on the roof, the minutes to the lesson taken away, she proceeds to lay the item down on the ground and begin to work in earnest. Wrapped in silence, I watch her fingers move about on the small square with amazing dexterity. A small fold here, a larger fold there. Her fingertips keep a slow but sure pace. Looking up, her expression is calm and placid. The fact her face is pointed well above the sheet in front of her makes the sight of her work all the more curious. Her shoulders slump a bit after finishing one final fold, her work apparently done. It's only when she holds the item up in her hands that I realize what it is. A small origami crane. The light brown, thanks to the packaging used, the result looks quite delicate and precise. You can do origami. I taught myself how to do it when I was younger. It improved my dexterity a bit. A little baffled, I carefully take the small bird from her pale, cupped hands as if it would break from the slightest breath. It seems to be folded quite well and holds its shape easily. We both grab our bags and head out the door, Lily extending her cane as she does so. I hold Lily's handiwork up to my face for further inspection while we walk down the hallway, her hand running along the silver handrails for orientation. She taught herself origami to improve her dexterity, with the use of her hands meaning so much to her given her condition. So that's it. I smile as I realize the bird's meaning. Everyone here has to find their own ways of dealing with their conditions. You aren't alone here when you have problems. And thanks, Lily, I appreciate this. She gives a sweet smile and a nod, not using words where none need to be used, in her typical manner. All I ask is that you take care of yourself, Azal. Don't worry, I will. Promise? Promise. And with that, we part ways. To be honest, I don't know what annoys me more, the fact that I could die at any moment, or the fact that everyone knows that. Guess I'll just take each day as it comes, as the unexpected present in my hand reminds me. I'm not alone here. Even though I may be like this, I'm not alone. If they worry, if anyone worries, I'll smile. I'll smile enough for all their worries to go away. Drink time. Alrighty. The moment the bell rings, a collective sigh of relief comes from everyone. Much of the morning's been taken up by a droning lecture on stoichiometry. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. A topic entirely unbefitting of the insufferable heat permeating the classroom. Knowing that attempting to teach anything more would be an exercise in futility, Buto gives up and begins clearing the teaching materials from his desk for the day. As meaningless banter starts filling the classroom, I notice Hanako getting up and coming to my desk. She's been a lot less withdrawn lately, something which gives me a small measure of satisfaction. Hello, Izao. Hey, want to go pick up Lily then? It's close to the time when she'd need to get going if she's going to make that flight. About that. She said she might be held up a bit by her classmates. I suppose that makes sense. Her class usually gets off a little earlier than ours, so Lily would normally have just come to our classroom. Her class must be sending her off. Well, never mind. We can wait outside her classroom for once, right? She gives a small giggle before nodding, the two of us taking our things and leaving for 3-2's classroom. When we reach our destination, I stop in idle amusement at the scene inside. One of the shorter girls from the class has Lily wrapped in an enthusiastic hug, her head no higher than Lily's chin. Her other friends, of which there are several, are gathered around her as well. Lily simply smiles kindly and hugs them back. I guess Lily must be pretty popular. Compared to Shizune's harsh but fair dictatorship of 3-3, Lily seems to be more like a mother figure for 3-2, to say nothing of her height and looks. Kenji's pointedly cool demeanor as he packs up his things at the seat in the back corner of the classroom is expected. He's no doubt far from a fan of the fuss being made about Lily's leaving. Looking beside me and seeing Hanako following my gaze, I decide to finally enter the room. Afternoon, Lily. It's just me and Hanako. Hanako withers noticeably when exposed to the din being made around Lily. Try as she might, I doubt she'll ever get completely over her social anxiety. Hello. Lily manages to work out her position reasonably well, her classmates detaching herself without a second word. A look of slight expiration is written on Lily's face, though I can't say I blame her. Hello, Zhao, Hanako. Do we have much time before the flight leaves? I give a quick glance to my watch, taking the trip to the airport into account. There's a good 10, maybe 15 minutes left while still allowing for contingencies. Yeah, we still have a few minutes to kill. I wouldn't worry about missing it yet. Is this Hanako? Uh-oh, I think we just inadvertently become entangled in Lily's social web. The girl's probably part of the legally blind faction of the class, like Kenji, given her almost window pane-like spectacles. Her short, roughly cut hair gives her a look that fits her excitable expression. Hello, She takes Hanako's hand and pulls it up and down enthusiastically. I really don't get how girls can be so social to someone they only know as a friend of a friend. While Hanako exchanges nervous greetings, I look around the room for my short and overdressed next-door neighbor. Try as I might, he seems to have slipped out of the classroom without anyone noticing. Darn. For a moment I try to think of possible career paths that could reasonably benefit from his single skill before putting my mind more to pertinent matters. Lily seems pleased, if somewhat guarded, about the enthusiasm Hanako's suddenly excited from the oh, let me reread that. Lily seems pleased, if somewhat guarded, about the enthusiasm Hanako suddenly excited from those around her. She might not see it, but Hanako is much less panicked about the affair than I had anticipated. Shuffling my way through the gaggle of classmates, I eventually managed to reach her. Don't worry, Hanako's fine. Thank you, I thought she might be overwhelmed by them. Don't worry, we'll be gentle. Both of us grimace in unison. Hanako's nervous grin stays placid on her face as another couple of girls moves in to meet her. It's kind of amazing that even just a month ago she'd never have been able to cope with situations such as this. Even when I first met her, the two of us completely alone, she sprinted away from the library. So got everything you need? It's all packed. I just have to go to my room to pick it up on the way in. Hanako and I need to change. Guess we better get going then. Hanako? Hanako's head flicks up towards us in a flash, her face rather unmistakably appreciating the fact that chance to extricate herself from the small group gathered around her. You're coming. The long taxi ride to the airport is surprisingly pleasant, despite the three of us being rather squished together to fit in the small back seat. On the other hand, maybe despite isn't the right word. Lily pays the fare to the driver as we file out, Hanako's eyes flittering left and right. Thankfully, there aren't too many people around, most of them being inside the main building rather than milling around outside. It isn't hard to spot Akiya and Hideaki leaning against the fence while talking to pass the time. A large black travel bag, complete with wheels and travel handle, leans against the fence alongside them. Hideaki is the first to notice us, pointing out that to Akiya that gives an over-enthusiastic wave. Hey, hey! I grab Lily's traveling bag for her as we go to meet the two, earning a nod of appreciation. I've got all my stuff here. You got yours? Plane ticket as well. Don't worry, I have everything. You? Yep, all ready to go. Not without some problems along the way, I might add. The snide remark has his head roughly dragged around by a very firmly clamped-on hand. Haha, yeah, I sort of forgot it was in my trousers pocket, trousers that I'd put in the wash. Oh no. Don't worry, don't worry. Did you know you can print out tickets if you order online nowadays? It's really cool. Hideaki's pained expression says that this wasn't the solution found quickly. It could have been worse, I guess. We better start off then. Check-in would be ready by now. Yeah, you're right. There's a certain amount of wistfulness in both their voices, to say nothing of the people left behind. Meeting their family again after all these years would be big for them. What an outfit. Lily. Hanako wraps Lily in a gentle hug to say goodbye, one which is warmly reciprocated. Lily and I share a brief hug afterwards, each of us saying our goodbyes. Beside us, Akira and Hideaki break off from a small hug and a word or two between them. It would probably look quite nice if not for the almost comical height difference between the two. Lily takes a hold of her sister's arm once all that needs to be said is in farewells is said, the two walking past the huge glass doors. Goodbye, Hizao, Hanako. See ya, don't do anything stupid, shorty. We wave at them until they disappear from sight in the throng of people moving around inside. And then we're alone. Well, that's that. I turn to see Hideaki already beginning to walk off. See ya. He throws a hand into the air in a manner I'd expect of a Kyoa. In the end, it's just Hanako and I left standing outside. I rest my hand on her shoulder. She absent-mindedly gazes towards the front doors of the building, as if she might catch a glimpse of either of the two before they disappear. Don't worry, the time will pass fast. She hesitates for a moment, but eventually nods. With the scorching heat of the summer sun beaming down on us, we make our way to the nearby bus stop. Strange, really, just when I had begun to see Lily differently, she leaves on what almost feels like a pilgrimage to the past. In a way, though, that's just what I've been doing since coming to Yamaku. As much as I may reflect on everything that's happened to me, I really am hardly unique. Everyone has their own circumstances and separate paths to get where they are now. Yet I still can't really work out how I should proceed. My life may have practically been reset, and I still can't find anything that satisfactorily fills the hole I still feel in myself. Maybe Lily's leaving will be a good thing for me. Without her to lean on, I'll need to do more for myself. I'll have to be there for Hanako as well. It feels strange to have so much changing so quickly after my months in that hospital that seemed to exist so separately from reality, but that's all the more reason for me to keep focused. Oh, I can hit spacebar too. I can't let any opportunity slip out of my fingers in my attempt to rebuild my life. Oh, the next act. Act 3, present. So Act 2 was past, this is present, next Act 4 will probably be future. I rest my chin on my hand as I absent-mindedly look out the window, yet another of Muto's lectures droning on and on as if it were endless. The summer sky is almost luring in its bright cerulean splendor, only the odd passing cloud breaks up the deep blue expanse. This feeling of longing is probably the outdoor side of me yearning to escape. Nakai, could you answer this? That side of me is lost in the past now, though. In that case, I think I would use the ane suffix? Or suffix? Correct. Moving on, the suffix for. As my attention towards Muto slips once again, I spot Misha giving me an enthusiastic thumbs up and a nod at her to settle her down. It's been a handful of days since Lily left for Scotland, days which have passed relatively peacefully. Life largely continued as usual in contrast to what I had expected. While thoughts of her have danced around on the edge of my mind since she left, present events managed to subdue them, at least for the time being. So I find myself idly chatting with Hanako as usual when lunchtime finally rolls by. Are the later ones in the series good as well? Not really, you're probably best off just sticking to the original. His later books don't live up to it, other than maybe God Emperor. Thanks, I wasn't really sure if... As Hanako steps to the side, I see Shizune stride up in her typical business-like manner, flanked by her ever-present red-haired shadow. Oh, there's a beetle on my arm. Try as I might, I can't read any hint of their intent from their faces. Shizune's poker face and Misha's seemingly boundless cheerfulness are a devilish combination. Morning, Shizune and Misha. Hi. I accentuate the greeting with a nod to Shizune in order to get the point across. She promptly and curtly returns the gesture to both of us. It's been a long while since I've really talked to either of them. For a while I thought they might be avoiding me, but I eventually came to the conclusion that Shizune really isn't the type to do so. Morning, Shi-chan says that Muto wants to see you sometime. Because of this statement, my face contorts as if I'd just eaten spoiled food, giving Misha no end of amusement. Anyone think you were in trouble, He-chan? You may not be aware of it, but you have the least to worry about out of anyone in the class. What an unexpected vote of confidence. Even Hanako nods hesitantly to affirm the point. Thanks, I'll keep that in mind. There was something I wanted to ask you, though. And what might that be, He-chan? I have a feeling this won't go over well, but here goes. Is there any reason why you and Lily don't get along? It seems like even a little civility would help you both in your duties. Shizune's cold stare after Misha happily signs the word stops me in my tracks. In hindsight, I really could have worded that better. Out of the corner of my eye, I'm sure I see Hanako move back just a little. Thankfully, Shizune notices this and lets her temper dissipate as she forcefully runs her hand through her hair to let off steam. Perfectly on cue, Misha begins interpreting the second Shizune's arms begin to move. I would say that such matters aren't relevant to you, but since you seem to have befriended Lily... She pauses to adjust her glasses, evidently attempting to articulate her point in the best possible manner. While I assume the same of her, I cannot call my own views on the matter unbiased. Suffice to say, we were closer before than we are now. Shizune makes a quick gesture to Misha to stop her from interpreting, then has a quick meeting with her before proceeding. The fact that the two can communicate so easily yet so secretly right in front of us is slightly disconcerting. Hanako seems to share my curiosity to proceedings, looking on with thinly masked interest. As they finish their opaque conversation, Misha looks slightly deflated. I guess her opinion on the matter wasn't followed. Shichen says you should ask Lily about it, as she doesn't want to be the one that gets you involved. Well, I guess I'll just have to ask her after she gets back. At least I got some information out of Shizune. The two having been on close terms, meaning they weren't always at each other's throats, or at least not quite to this extent. I understand. Thanks anyway. With a nod and a farewell, the two break away and walk out the door, no doubt headed straight for the student council room. Could have gone worse, I suppose. Hanako lets out a long breath, relieved at the confrontation's resolution. I can't say I blame her. I'll see you later then? Yeah, meet you in the tea room. See ya. With that, she waves and joins the trickle of students leaving the classroom. Nakai, could I speak with you for a moment? Delivered in his typical monotone manner, he apparently decided that I needed a reminder to see him today. Eventually, I finished packing up my things. By the time I reached his desk, the classroom is close to empty. Yes, sir? He looks up, taking measure of my face, before giving an awkward, rather obviously acted chuckle. No need to feel guilty. You're not in any trouble. I just want to ask you something I've asked a few other students so far. That's something, at least. For a moment, I thought my maxim of keeping my head down and pen up had failed me. So, what did you want to talk about? To start with, what do you think of your progress in this class so far? Good, bad? I detest that kind of question. For a fair amount of time I try to think of a response that is neither pathetically humble nor cocky. I'd say I'm doing okay, though work doesn't seem too hard, and I'm doing better on the test than I thought I would. That's a good answer, a correct one. I give a mental sigh of relief at his satisfaction. To say that I don't gain a little pride from his comment would be a blatant lie. In a maelstrom of thoughts clouding my mind after learning that I'd be transferring to Yamaku, my school grades seemed utterly unimportant. Being entirely clueless as to what skill level would be assumed of me, once I actually got here, I was hugely relieved when I found out that I understood well enough the schoolwork we'd be doing. I know your circumstances might have thrown a wrench in the works, but have you given any thought to the future? My future. What you'd like to do as a profession? Do you have any thoughts of where you'd like to be in 10 or 20 years' time? I wouldn't be surprised if you covered this ground in your previous school, but I don't have any record of it if you have. I suppose the last year of high school is the time when students would need to be thinking about such things. To be honest, I really haven't lent it much thought compared to my immediate situation. Catching on to my thinking, Muto speaks up. It's okay if you haven't decided on anything specific yet. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of your classmates are still undecided after all. Maybe pursue one of your talents. He's rather obviously trying to squeeze an answer out of me, and something about his previous wording makes me suspicious. He didn't seem to be intent on asking everybody about this, so he must have some kind of selection criteria. I'd guess our marks in his class. Well, something in science might be the path of least resistance. His face brightens, no doubt pleased at the thought of a prized student following his subject as a career path. Good, having a general idea is the first step. I would advise you to think on it, though. I will. Things are kind of settling down, which will help. Good to hear, Owen. I've noticed that Ikazawa's attendance and marks have improved since you came to be friends. I'd like to thank you for that. I'm surprised you noticed we knew each other. He gives a chuckle as awkward as a smile. This guy really has no idea how to properly act around others. Every facial movement seems like an act of careful but misdirected choreography. You could say that having a general idea of who knows whom is part of a teacher's job. Catching himself before he goes off on a tangent, he loudly coughs into his hand. I'm sure you have things to do, though, so I'll stop there. Please do think about where you're headed from here, as you don't have long before you go finish high school. I will, thanks. The brief talk ended, I take my leave. He goes back to fussing with the teacher's materials on his desk. This is one of the times I'm envious of Lily, almost maddeningly so. To have one's future so clear and so assured, yet working towards it from such a young age. It's an idea so utterly irreconcilable, okay, with my own thoughts mired in the present day just as they've always been. Walking through the lobby to the cafeteria, I silently rue my daily routine having been completely thrown off. It had seemed like a normal day. I arrived in class before most due to waking early and having become quite adept at chucking down my pills all without choking as I get ready for the day. But as students trickled in, one never materialized. Hanako. I step inside, my eyes scanning the expanse of the cafeteria in search of a suitable place to take a seat. It's a task made more difficult by the groups of students moving about and busily talking. Gah. A hand pounds my back hard a couple of times, severely winding me. I couldn't care less about the culprit as I focus my thoughts on my chest in a near-automatic reaction. My hand instinctively tightens on my breast, and I start going through the steps I rehearse in my mind every other day. Breathe steadily, in and out. With a measure of relief, I can slowly feel my chest becoming less tense. By the time I look back up, my face is covered in sweat from the experience. Ah. Hey man, are you okay? God damn it, don't do that, you idiot. He retreats back, an expression of unease written on his face. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have barked at him, considering he had no way to know. I give a sigh and right myself with some difficulty. Sorry, I just have some chest problems. Sharp knocks aren't good. Seems strange to see him so upset. The fact that I can't do anything about it irritates me. Let's get lunch. Okay, it's good to have some company for once. We start off to the serving line. One good thing is that Kenji and I can make small talk nowadays, as opposed to my only interaction with him being anti-feminist lectures. Seems like it'd be hard to find an empty table. There's a few people I wouldn't mind sitting with. Nobody's like you, though. I feel a shiver run through my spine. Clarify that now. They don't listen, their minds are closed. It's the media, man. The goddamn brainwashing, mainstream, feminist, fascist media. He takes a deep breath, and I savor the second of silence. Damn, they control everything but you and me. I relax a little while we grab our food and drink. So, what have you got for me? Huh? Come on, you've been hanging around Sato and the other chick for ages now. Rumors are all over my class, and probably some of the others too. Eavesdropping isn't a good habit. Let me guess, you'd never do it, not even when you're bored, really. Well, fine, point taken. Both of us stop to have soup ladled into a couple of small bowls and placed onto our trays. The concoction that lands into the bowl looks pretty questionable, but at least it smells reasonably good. As we take our seats at a miraculously free table, I try to think of something that would actually interest him at all. I hope I can come up with an acceptable topic. I found an answer to that question you asked a couple of weeks back, where Lily's non-Japanese half comes from, that is. Good man, it's Russia, right? Totally Russia. Scotland. He's visibly stopped in his tracks. Scotland. Yeah, that was my reaction too. She can speak English fluently and everything. Damn it, do you realize what this means? How terrifying this news is to me? I think he's hyperventilating. Passing out for a little while would probably make him more relaxed than he normally is. Oh, I highly doubt this question is going to come up, like, it's going to come back to bite me. Because it seems very unrelated to everything. Yes, that's humor. I have no idea what it means. Enlighten me. I just lost 1,000 yen, man. 1,000 yen. Damn, this is the worst day ever. You're kidding me. You made a bet about her nationality? One of the dudes in my class was bugging me about it. I gave him some of my wisdom, and he had the audacity to say my logic was wrong. So, what did he think? Man, Germany or something. It doesn't matter. What matters is my 1,000 yen. Damn, this day's ruined thanks to her. What a bitch. He looks utterly devastated as he wolfs down several clumps of his soggy soy-soaked rice. It only takes a few mouthfuls before he pokes his chopsticks at me, stabbing the air repeatedly in revelation. Why, what? Didn't your mother ever tell you not to speak with your mouth full? He gives me a dirty look before choking down the rest of the food left in his mouth, and taking a gulp of juice. It's rather unsightly. Remembering my own food sitting in front of me, I decide to get the task of eating the cafeteria food over and done with as fast as possible. The sooner I do so, the sooner the experience will be over. So, as I was saying, why would anyone want to live in that place anyway? I mean, what is there to see? Grassy plains, that's it. Lots and lots of grassy plains. And men in kilts. I'm not sure which is worse, this food or his worldview. I can feel my face being dragged down by their combined weight, not that he'd notice or care. It's not that bad. Why do you even care about her so much anyway? She's just your class representative, after all. He gives a malevolent chuckle. Were this anyone but Kenji, I'd feel uneasy at how he sounds. I finally found a chink in the Feminist Legion's armor. It took a while, but I'm confident this is going to be how we can bring down the whole system. I'm about to blow your mind. Are you ready? I tune out his ramblings for a moment as I finish my rice and start on the unappetizing soup. One taste is enough to confirm that it's cold. Ready as I'll ever be. I confirm that Lily is in the Mafia. What? Alright, stay with me for a second here, and I'll describe the scene. I wish I could do otherwise. Lily's there, walking down the street after school. You're not stalking her, are you? No, damn man, I have some sense of self-preservation. But not dignity, or morals, or social standards. Anyway, as I was saying, this car pulls up next to her, and guess who steps out? A man in a pinstripe suit. Waves her in, and the two leave just like that. I tell you, man, she's under protection. Under protection. A man in a... Oh, I can see where this is going now. It takes an effort not to sign expiration. Let me guess, this man was about average height, had a slightly slender build, had blonde hair, looked forward, and then smiled a lot. He looks positively stunned. I take advantage of the moment of quiet to quickly gulp a mouthful of cold soup. Seems you're more observant than I thought. Yes, I have chosen well. He giggles a little and nods to himself so dramatically that it looks comical. I can't tell whether that's intentional or not, and the fact makes me frown. This has important ramifications, you know. If she really is connected to people like them and we're smart about what we do with this information, we could turn this into our greatest weapon against the student council. Once he starts rambling into conspiracy territory, my juice suddenly becomes of much more importance. Only half listening to his pontifications, my mind drifts to the matter of Lily and her antipathy for Shizune. The past between them is steadily becoming more coherent, but I'm not sure if I should be learning of her past this way. Indeed, even if I do work out what went on, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't seem like my business to go and interfere. Not having Lily around is making my thoughts wander. I'm noticeably more bored and sullen without her company, and the same goes for Hanako. All we do during lunch anymore is eat and play chess. Come to think of it, I need to go check on Hanako after school too, considering her much improved attendance. I'm guessing she's come down with something. Alright, well, I'm going to end it here. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.